There's just a lot of background noise, so I'll just mute you. Or you can mute yourself. Awesome. Okay, so what volume means is the amount of liquid in a container. And, you know, if you're doing a recipe, like suppose you and mom are baking cookies or something, you're going to have to measure liquid. So that's what a volume measures. So right now you're doing length, like something is 3 centimeters or something like that. And it's like a ruler, right? This is liquid. And so when you're doing liquid, this is a really cool way to do it. And it's drawing as well. So you're going to draw your circle. And you're going to draw kind of a big container like this. And then in the container, you're going to do 1 gallon, like a gallon of milk. And this is also the same amount as what 4 quarts would be. And if you were measuring pints, it would be 8 pints. And it would be 16 cups. So you know the gallon of milk that you might have in the refrigerator? We could measure it as 1 gallon, 4 quarts, 8 pints, or 16 cups. So if I asked you, how many quarts, like I have a certain amount of gallons, how many quarts would that be? So if I asked you, how many quarts is 2 gallons? We could see right here that 1 gallon equals 4 cups, quarts. So how many would 2 gallons equal? It would equal 8 quarts. And it's okay if you don't quite understand this right now. They usually spend about a week on this and everybody forgets it and then you learn it next year. I even have to always remind myself, wait, because how often do we measure stuff? So you don't have to memorize it. You just have to understand that if you had a gallon container, it's the same as if you had 4 quarts. If you poured them into the same container, 1 gallon and 4 quarts and 8 pints and 16 cups would all be the same amount of volume. Does that make sense to you, Stella? Okay, so you have a big gallon of milk in the refrigerator. If you had smaller containers, like this would be a pint right here, in order to equal the same 1 gallon, you would have 4 of these smaller ones that would equal about this size. So this is a gallon, and then these would be the pints. So if you poured them all in the same container, these 4 cartons that are pint size and this 1 gallon would all be the same amount of liquid. And then it would be 8 pints, sorry. So we would have, let me just do it like this. Not this. So if we did, this would be 1 pint, 2 pints, 3 pints, 4 pints, 5 pints, 6, 7, 8. So you'd have all of these containers would fit inside of this 1 big gallon. And then you would also have 4 quarts that would fit in the same gallon container if you poured them all in. So these are all the same. And then you would have 16 cups. And you've used like a measuring cup, right? Like the clear measuring cup that you would do, like if you and mom were baking cookies or something and you needed a cup of milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so 16 of these little ones fit into this. 4 of these quarts fit into this 1 gallon. And then 8 of the pints that are smaller would also fit in there. So from this measurement, we could get all of these measurements. Okay, another one we have is one cup equals how many ounces? So an ounce is little. It's like maybe the size of this. If I filled this piece of, say this was a little cup, this would be an ounce. And then the cup would be the thing that you use to pour the milk in when you're making cookies with Mom. So we'll just draw, here's a little cup, measuring cup. And 8 little ounces would fit in here. If you were doing, this would be a little ounce, and it's the same measurement. So 8 of these little ounces would make 1 cup. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Awesome. Now we have a tablespoon. So you've been cooking before and you've seen that there's a big spoon and there's a little spoon, right? 3 of these little teaspoons, we abbreviate it TSP. 3 of these would fit into here. So say that was 3. And this is called a tablespoon, and we would, so this is TSP and it's a lowercase t. A tablespoon is just an uppercase T. And so 3 of these little teaspoons would fit into this 1 tablespoon. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now in this one, we had 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, 8 pints, and 16 cups. We also have another measurement, and that is a smaller measurement. So you're going to make a smaller cup. So here was our big gallon. Now you're going to make a smaller one that is a quart, 1 quart, and that equals 2 pints or 4 cups. So you can have 1 quart, and in that you would have 2 pints. So the smaller container, this would be a pint, and this would be a pint, and it would fit inside of this 1 quart. And then this would also be 4 cups. So if we were doing our little measurement for our cookie thing that we were talking about, the clear glass little container, 4 of these cups would fit into this 1 quart. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then in that little cup that we were talking about, so here's the cup that you would use. 1 cup would equal 8 ounces. Remember we were talking about those little cups that were like this? 8 of those would equal this 1 cup. So these ounces would be able to fit into here. Any questions about that, honey?